Sagittarius, I'm here to give you a bonus wild card read straight from the hip with lots of lip. Once again, you pulled it off. You were the highest viewing sign at Broad Coven back in March. And so I'm getting an early jump start on it. I figure we got these Venus conjunctions coming in. We're closing out this month with some pretty potent transformational astrology. And so I thought we'd do a little bonus read for all of the three signs that got the top highest views. That was in order Sagittarius, Scorpio, and Capricorn. So all three of you will be getting your reads in this week, but we're kicking it off with you, Sag. And we're going to look at how you can activate the transformation you're wanting to see in your life so you can take best advantage of this transformational astrology we have closing out this month. And just for fun here, we are working with the Arcane BS deck, all right? This is for any significant Sagittarius placement. Also, if you happen to have a prominent placement in the ninth house, or if you're a Gemini rising, that makes you a Sagittarius descendant, and you may find a lot of resonance with these messages. I did get an initial download for you, and that's that you have to go with your own flow, Sagittarius, all right? Your flow is probably different from a lot of other people's, but you can only do things your way. It won't work to put yourself in a box or to go along with the flow of somebody else's wishes. It just won't work. It's actually a very sabotaging influence, and perhaps you've let this sabotaging influence creep in. It could have crept into your thoughts. It could have crept into your work. It could have crept into the way you see yourself or the world around you, or maybe even a particular person. But there's something here that you need to extricate yourself from so you can kind of get back in your own flow again. Something's disrupting your flow, all right? It's all about flow for you this week. You know, it's like there's dams in the river. There's something that's preventing you from just flowing forward freely toward that transformation you're wanting to see in your life. And you got to clear out these roadblocks. I got the devil's in the details, okay? There's something you need to look at a little bit more closely, and it will reveal where the issues are. A clue is nighttime, dream time, how you're feeling at night. There's also something about needing to improve the breathing quality in your bedroom, all right? You need more oxygenation. You need to get that brain oxygenated, man, okay? So you might want to let some fresh air in. You might want to clean your bedding. For some of you that have a mattress from an old relationship that you've held onto for a long time, it might be time to look for a new mattress. You'd be surprised at how that can shift the energy up. But I do feel like there's something that's like kind of stuck in your energy body, and it's sort of like acting as a block, okay? It's very subtle, so you need to kind of tune into it. Let's get some more details, Sag. Yeah, I mean, I think you've been going along with the status quo. Everything's fine, but all around you, you just see nothing but the seeds of destruction, man. And there's something about this too, where, you know, you're not feeling the activation. There's like this facade you're putting up, okay, on the surface where it's like, oh yeah, everything's fine, it's great. But inside there's like an inferno raging, because I feel like you just want there to be transformation in your life so bad. And this is when it can get a little bit sketchy, because if you hold all that energy inside, then it can come out in really destructive ways, and it can make a mess. All right, there's going to be a lot of doors of opportunity opening up for you here. All right, but first, the doorways open up in your consciousness. They open up in your mind. And I got that you really need to improve something about the bedroom environment. I feel like you need clean, fresh air, okay? Some of you may want to get one of those UV systems, or maybe you need to get a humidifier or something that just improves the air quality in your bedroom. You might want to let that fresh air in. And again, like, invest in some new bedding at the very least. If you got an old mattress that you need to get rid of, but you're not able to right now, do what you can to at least, you know, improve the bedding quality. So, you know, wash your bedding or get some new bedding, okay? It'll make more of a difference than you think. I also think it's important for you to just sort of like wind down at night. You're really needing more recharging time at night because I feel like there's a lot that's wanting to open up in your consciousness at night. Some of you also might need to do like a little energetic clearing of the bedroom space, especially if you feel like hitchhiker energy kind of like poking into the dream space, right? Piece of angelica root in the four corners of the room can help hold the energy down, as can just like warding your bed, you know, just envisioning yourself surrounded in any kind of protective bubble you want to put around you there. Just so when you're in your more kind of like open state, when you go to bed, you can just totally relax and like give yourself over, not feel like you got other people who want answers from you, trying to tap into your consciousness there. I do feel like you got a little bit of that action going on. I think you're well aware of it. You got certain people around you who just love to put you in a place of confusion in your head with the decision maker here. And it's time for you to take back the authority of, you know, your own internal landscape, how you're seeing your life, your choices, and get these other people out of the mix that are just quite frankly causing nothing but a ball of confusion here, right? There is something that you need to cut off. And I feel like this is something that's really slowing you down. Again, it's disrupting your flow. And it's something that's kind of like you're already kind of tuned into this, okay? But you feel like this person, you know, is sort of thinking you're a little bit stupid. Like you don't know what's going on, but you're well aware that they got a knife, you know, kind of aimed at your back there. This person's around for surveillance with Robo Dodo here, okay? They're kind of pretending like they don't have a clue, they don't know what's going on, but you know that this person's sort of like paying attention to what's going on in your world. They're wanting some information. This could even be surveillance, okay? This could be somebody is just keeping too much of an eye on you and your life and what you're up to. And you need to potentially cut off this energy with Robo Dodo there, all right? You may be telling yourself it's probably nothing, but it's obviously something that's, you know, creating enough confusion within you or is making things messy enough for you to have extra work on your hands that, no, that's a detail you do want to tend to, okay? So let's see, what is needed here for Sagittarius to activate the transformation they're wanting to see in their life? What is needed here for Sagittarius to activate the transformation they're wanting to see in their life? What is needed here for Sagittarius to activate the transformation they're wanting to see in their life? What is needed here? Oh, you got some catfishing accounts. You got some people trolling you. You got some people eavesdropping on social media. Are you in communication with a certain someone that you know they aren't who they say they are? You know they're wearing a mask. This is somebody you potentially blocked. Just as a little clue, it could be somebody you went out for pizza with, okay? You think this person's got too much of an eye on you, okay? They want to know what's going on with that slice. You better not be sharing a slice with anybody else but me, man. Yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of cats posing as a woman. This is definitely like catfishing. This is like using friends' accounts to have access to what you're posting if you blocked this person. This is maybe somebody new that you've just met, you know. They might even be having a flirtation with you. For some of you, for those of you who are into women, you may have recently met a woman online. You've been chatting up with her. There's actually a dude behind that profile. You're not talking to who you think you're talking to. You're talking to Robo Dodo. Robo Dodo is doing a little surveillance and wants to get the upper hand in a particular competition here. This could be like a player energy too, actually. You know, they might be partially trying to cover their own butt in this situation. Maybe they're trying to get some intel on you. They're trying to see you, you know, slipping up or something. They're hoping they can catch you, put you in a compromising position so then they have an argument to stand on. I don't know why it's going through like that. It is though, but somebody here is like down low. They're trying to get some information out of you and they're coming off very friendly. But do you notice all these other cats attached to this person? And you see they're wearing a mask? This could even be like a group of people that are using an account, you know, for purposes of surveillance, spying. Okay, what do you got here? Oh, yes, the provider. Your own personal Jesus. I mean, seriously, like this is somebody who thinks that, you know, they got everything that you need. Everything you need, all right? But you need to be aware here, okay? There's some secrets in this situation. There could be a love child hiding in this situation. There's definitely a elephant here hanging out in the room, all right? And there's something here about a new beginnings desired, but you know, how can there be new beginnings with old mushmouth when he can't even form the words to let you know what's really going on here, okay? This person may feel like they have to hide their identity in order to talk to you too. It could be because this person's already in a relationship. This person's already married. They have a kid, okay? It's the elephant in the room. Now you may suspect this too. Something feels a little bit fishy about this person you're talking to. You keep telling yourself it's probably nothing. Oh, it's something. And you know it. And I think, you know, there's a decision you need to make here. I think you've been maybe struggling with this decision, or maybe you've been telling yourself you can kind of like too can play that game. I'm going to try to fish for some information in this situation, see what I can figure out. I mean, it's just like a hall of mirrors, though. It's nothing but shadow boxing. It's only going to take you further into this place of being distracted by this. Okay. I say if something doesn't feel right, like cut it off. Okay. Cut it off. So it does seem like there's a connection here where you know that something isn't quite right. And some of you may have a habit of kind of like wondering too much about what's going on with a certain somebody as well, you know? And you may begin to realize that this is just keeping you in a place where it's keeping you from taking action in your life. It's acting as a distraction, and maybe you need to cut it off. You know, maybe you need to like cut the cord too on so much time online as well, you know? Yeah, some of you may be just too plugged into the virtual reality. It's time to get back to reality, get kind of out of this Neptunian energy, okay? And then you'll see things a lot more clearly. Let me do a cut of the deck here. Also, if you've been staying up late at night because you've been having trouble sleeping and you've been noshing on things like pizza, it's like time to cut that off too. That's not helping the health at all. I think you know that. You might have been dealing with like some heartburn, some acid reflux, just feeling a little bit lower energy. Your body's bogged down. Your body's bogged down. If you're eating late at night, your body's bogged down, you know, and I have to say that that is one thing you can do to radically transform your health is if you're a late night eater, nip that in the bud, because all of your digestive organs go into detox mode at night. So if you're eating at night, all that energy that normally goes to detoxification instead goes straight to your digestion. And so you end up feeling just like bogged down and lethargic. And if you're not sharp, you're not going to be able to make the best decisions, you know. Ted just said yes about that. So there's something about really, you know, cutting off some things that aren't really serving you here. Yeah, because I think you're a little bit too much in your head right now. We got a cat licking its own butt for eternity. Sort of like you've pondered a certain, you know, view for quite a while, and you know it don't get any better, and it kind of stinks, and I don't really like it, you know, and I'm tired of dealing with this effing guy here. Okay, this is something that goes back really way back, right? Way back. It's an old axe to grind. And some of you may feel like it's me, you know, it's me. I recognize that, you know, sometimes when I'm really upset about something, I get on my soapbox and I won't let it go. I'm like a dog with a bone. And it just always ends up with things, you know, turning to shit when all is said and done. And you may recognize, like, I need to really like purify myself of this behavior and get a different view. Some of you, though, I have to say, you've been dealing with someone who's very controlling. This could be like a magician type, and they do like to throw stuff around. And if you suspect that, and if you feel like somebody's been trying to do like some kind of like control work or confusion work or anything along these lines, if you know, you know, and you would know, okay, this isn't going to speak to everybody, but it will speak to some of you. You would do very well to do some kind of spiritual cleansing, okay? Work with a spiritual cleansing bath. It can be very helpful. And I fully recommend that you start with something like as a baseline, like maybe working with a particular Psalms or something, or, you know, just something that feels very rooted in a tradition that speaks to you. I mean, I like Psalms 39. I think it's always really good for that. You know, maybe throwing some bay leaf or something in there for a very simple bath. You can do a bay leaf infusion, pour it over the crown. You can do a sea salt and baking soda bath as well, or you can use Epsom salts, and that's really good for cleansing too. You know, I think you're just ready to like get out of the fire. You might be ready to get out of the fire, right? Some of you are feeling the burn. You know, you jumped out of a particular frying pan, you jumped into the fire. You're wondering when you're going to be through the other end of this fire test of truth. Like, it takes its time. I think you did open up Pandora's box in a situation. We got the coffin full of tacos, full of snakes, all right? Some of you have been dealing with a lot of snakes in the grass. Some of you have been dealing with a lot of transformation in your life. Some of you have been dealing with a lot of seduction in your life. And some of you have gone down garden paths and it's really led you astray. Some of you, through this process of dealing with old stuff and all of these, like, you know, intimate entanglements and old love stories and, you know, difficult people that, you know, are kind of slippery and you don't know if you can trust them or not. It's activated a lot of your stuff. And because of that, y'all have been doing, you know, a little bit of comfort eating. All right. We do have the Scorpio full moon on the 23rd coming up. This would be a really good time to recommit to, like, really maybe focusing more on self-transformation and stop worrying about all these people around you. And I feel like a good place to start is really to get on some kind of health, you know, some kind of health kit, like, you know, clean up the diet, get to exercising a bit more, move your fire that way, move your fire constructively. Cut off anything that's making you feel confused. If you're dealing with a person that, like, every time you talk to them, you all of a sudden get thrown out of yourself, you're not sure what you think anymore, and now you're doubting your own choices, like, maybe get some space from that person. Okay, it does look like you might be dealing with one person in particular too. You know, it's kind of like throwing their weight around. You know, they think they're the boss of you. They think everything's about what they want. They have all the say. Very domineering kind of personality there, a Pharisee kind of personality, you know, just wants to really rule, you know, isn't willing to sort of like share power. Somebody who's being very argumentative, perhaps, too, really throwing their weight around. But, you know, only you can cut this off, or you can go for repeat, you know. I mean, you've already been through this quite a few times. I feel it's time to shatter an illusion, stop making do with what's unacceptable, right? But there is something here about the vitality, you know, I'm feeling very strongly, especially around food. It looks like it's like takeout, you know, it's like takeout, late night eating, you know, not food of the highest quality, okay? Just like freshen it up a little bit, Sagittarius. And then I think you'll start seeing things a lot more clearly too. I mean, people really strongly underestimate the effect it can have when, you know, you got that brain fog. You know, when you're not taking care of your physical body, it can lead to this brain fog. And I think you've been dealing with somebody that makes you feel like this. I mean, some of you got somebody who's like a little bit of an energy manipulator in your field. And you need to be aware of this person. You need to start paying attention to the details, how you're feeling around certain people. This really could be like blocking your transformation. It's like here you are, like you've been wanting transformation so much. You're like, I just want the transformation, but you got some crypt keeper here who's trying to like lay your fresh inspirations and your new starts to rest, right? This effing guy, man, robo dodo sent out for doing surveillance, and you got like some fake accounts here too, you know, some trolls, things of this nature. You know, you really need to look at this. You'll know what this is, you know. Could be playing out in the work arena, could be playing out in social media, okay? And I think also there's like sort of this mirroring effect where it's also playing out in your mind, okay? Sometimes you enter the labyrinth of your own mind by fixating on this so much, and it's meant for that, okay? It's distractionary, it's to take you off your path. Let me do a cut of the deck here. Oh, well, I already did a cut. There's this piece over here. Let me do one more cut of the deck here, okay? And then I think I'm going to get like an overarching theme card for Sag. How can Sagittarius activate the transformation they're wanting to see in their life? How can Sagittarius activate the transformation they're wanting to see in their life? I also think there's this piece here about sort of like calling out the elephant in the room too. Like, don't sit and play along with the ruse. Don't sit and play along with the games. If you know something's BS and you're dealing with somebody who's trying to sell you some story, like, you know, call it out, man. You know, that's a good boundary. Like, no, yeah, no, you don't get to wear a false face with me. Okay, you need to be real. You need to show me who you really are. Enough with the game playing. Like, take off the mask. Show up. You know, stop playing these games with me. I think that that's really important. So where you know somebody's just yanking your chain, it's time to, like, you know, let them know you're not going to be dealing with this anymore. You know, and things need to be above board. Things need to be honest here. I do feel like you got some, you know, frustration built up inside. Potentially a little anger here, okay? I think getting in a really good workout would help you. Getting to some kind of training would really help you, as well as getting better sleep, all right? You need to be more rested so you're not so like short fused either, okay? Let's do a cut of the deck here and see what we got, Sag. Oh, we got the dildo wizard. Dildo teabaggins here, you know. This is somebody who may be like poking around in your space energetically. I have to say, I mean, this is somebody who does like to tap in sensually. 23 on the clock, okay? There really needs to be, you know, something changed in this situation here. And somebody here may be kind of like acting like a victim in this situation. They may be acting like, you know, they're getting the raw end of the deal, and maybe they're feeling disempowered in this situation. But there's something here where there's, you know, it's like, will you stop effing around? You know, stop effing around with me too. Stop selling me all these BS stories, you know. I stop talking about the fantasy here. Let's talk about what really happened here. And then I also feel like this is somebody maybe that you're dealing with that, you know, they want some kind of new beginning with you. Meanwhile, you know, you're just one of the options. They got like multiple possible new beginnings sort of hanging out on the sidelines just in case you don't want this new beginning with them. And it's just, there's details here that are missing in this scenario. And I feel like, you know, this is time to kind of like really own what you want as well in terms of romantic relationships. You know, you don't need to be held up at the crossroads by any nonsense. If this doesn't work for you, then you just got to hold the line on it, right? And I don't think, you know, just sort of like sweeping the issue under the rug is going to work out in this situation. There definitely needs to be like a call out of the elephant in the room. You know, somebody's going to want to move forward with you. They need to be willing to kind of like, you know, go through the fire with you, you know, go through the fire with you. It's like you've been there kind of like on your own. It's like jump in the fire with me, you know. I feel like there is like something that needs to be transformed here, and there is some kind of confusion, nonsense, you know, manipulation, wearing a false face, telling fanciful stories. It could be too that you're dealing with somebody who has a bit of a sexual addiction, okay? Or you could feel like, you know, maybe some of you, I mean, it's coming in, some of you may be a little addicted to, you know, maybe addicted to porn. I mean, it's just coming in, okay? You may be, you know, sort of like caught up in fantasy land. I do got, there's some chaos magicians in the mix. Some of you are using that energy for manifestation and you're getting a little bit mucky with it. I have to tell you, you need to do some cleansing for those of you that that applies to, okay? Because you may be wondering why you're dealing with some reversals in your life and why, you know, things never, the view never seems to improve for you. It's like the same old, and things are getting messy and traumatic. Well, it's because, you know, you're not meant to use your energy to insert into other people's, you know, auric field like that. All right. Yeah, that's some parasitic fruit, okay? 2626 on the clock. So this is somebody's story. This is coming in here. Somebody's so tempted they can't help but to dip into somebody's energy body. Somebody can't help but dip in on the astral. It's just a huge temptation for them. And you may be tempted too. I have to say, Sag, it could be you're tempted to tap in or you're tempted to receive these astral transmissions, but I have to tell you, man, it's like this energy will get corded into you, and you see it blocks the creative center. So then you can't have that transformation and you want to see in your life. You can't have the new beginnings you want to see in your life. So let's see, what do I want to bring here? In here is just like kind of like an overarching theme. Let's do the sacred rebels as an overarching theme for you, Sagittarius. Right. So there's something here you definitely need to cut off. I mean, some of you, it's just a really like kind of like complicated arrangement. It could likely be an intimate relationship, okay, that you had. And maybe you want to untangle yourself from maybe a certain history, okay, for some of you. A history of the type of like lovers you've had or the types of friendships you've had, and you're wanting a different kind of experience, okay? Maybe you feel like a little bit of frustration around that because you feel a little bit, you know, guilty at times. It becomes hard for you, like you want to make room for people, but at the same time, like, you know, this isn't good for you. You know that certain connections have just kind of like served their purpose. You've learned all you can learn from each other, and they're starting to become more of like a liability, you know, they're like dragging you down. And maybe, you know, these people just aren't ready for a path of transformation. And, you know, that's nothing on them. I mean, everybody has their own path to walk, and we are all meant to go through certain passages. And it may just be that you're at a place in your life where you want a little bit more, and you're starting to find out that as long as you continue to kind of like move in the same circles or just tolerate certain stuff, it's actually like bogging your energy down. It's holding you back. You're tired of having the same old drama. You're tired of having the same old cravings and not having a real like truly empowering experience. You're wanting to switch this up a little bit, you know? There's certain things you no longer want to participate in. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? I do feel like you're done having people effing around with you, though. You know what I mean? You're it's like, take off the mask, you know, keep it real. Stop playing the games, you know, tell it like it is. And in some cases, you know, you might have to do the same too. You know, there's usually mirroring energy in our connections. So where do you need to stop playing games with yourself? Where are you playing yourself? You know, where are you indulging in what you tell yourself, like just one more time, or, you know, it's not so bad if it's just a little bit, but you know that soon it's like this downward spiral. And then before you know it, you're like really like lost the map. Okay. There's something about this. Okay. Let's check it out here. Bottom of the deck. Yes, spirals of manifestation. Now then they can be a downward spiral, and I feel like that's what you're trying to like lift up out of. You want to keep moving up into like the lighter spiral. You want to go up the next rung, okay? So give me an overarching theme for Sagittarius about how they can activate the transformation. See, and they're like, oh yeah, see? You need to go with this bright new idea here. It's a golden idea. It's a golden opportunity. It's definitely out of the box, okay? It's different than what you've done before, all right? And, you know, you're kind of like heading up to that midnight hour with this. You're in the 11th hour right now, and there is a change that's being asked of you here. 14, that makes me think of Temperance, your card in the tarot. So there's something here that's ready to be alchemized. This is also about you finding a certain sense of balance within yourself. And remember what I was talking about in the beginning about you can't really be put in a box. Nobody puts Sag in a corner. Like, you are who you are, you know, nobody can fence you in. You can't do that with a Sag. You got to let a Sag have freedom. And you don't want to be normal. You're going beyond normal here. And I feel like that's what's happened here. That's what's wrong. You know, somewhere along the line, you convinced yourself that you were normal. You started living like a normal person, having the normal life and doing the normal responsible things. And little bit by bit by bit, you started to lose yourself there. And I feel like now it's time to save your soul is what I just heard. Like, it's time to save your soul. There's like that real like wild, unbridled, you know. I just saw the image of like wild Mustangs like running across the plains with the smoke stirring up behind them. The smoke. The smoke is the dust, but it's like smoke. It's like fire blazing a trail. It's that energy. It's like harnessing that power, that transformational power of the horse, okay? Horse totem coming through. So this does have something to do with really building your own power and also not letting people kind of like get too like tapped into you and drain you dry to the point where soon they're the ones that have, you know, now all of a sudden you're chomping at the bit because they have the reins in your life. This is about you trusting your own impulses and that golden idea you have for moving forward that lights up the way. And I do feel like you're heading into the 11th hour with this. Something radical is about to transform here. Let me do a cut of the deck and see what we got, Sag. We got 30, the perfection of your life. All right. And on the other side, 8, be the hunter, not the hunted. So 3 and 8 could be coming into play here. There's a certain insight that you have gained in this situation. This is a little bit about turning the tables as well. Be the hunter, not the hunted. Remember, we're talking about energy, kind of tapping in, energy that was draining in nature, right? There's something here that you need to solve. There's a little bit of an inner riddle you have to resolve. This is somebody that you know is not the healthiest connection, and you need to keep firm boundaries around this connection. And this is somebody who wants insight, you know, into your situation. But the way they're coming across is like they're trying to be helpful. They may act supportive, but the reality is, you know, they have their own designs in mind in this situation. Okay. So don't be the hunter in this situation. Don't be the hunted in this situation. Be the hunter. You need to set your own vision for what hitting the mark looks like to you, and be aware of people's motivations when they're, you know, trying to get a little bit too many details about what should be really personal to you. You may have conformed a bit to this person's ideas about, you know, what you need to do, and there's something about taking back your initial inspiration here. But we see number 30, the perfection of your life. All right. There's something that is growing here for you. And there's something here that is going to have a lot of longevity for you. But it's only activated by seeing the true you, which requires you to kind of like get out of this energy, all right? Look at that teacup back there. It's just like a storm in a teacup, okay? But you've been really consumed by it. You know, maybe get grounded, maybe go and spend some time with nature, go and spend some time with some trees in a forest or with a particular tree that you've connected with. Just get your energy grounded out. And I think this will give you an opportunity to really get away from this storm in a teacup, this drama, and really see things as they are. Okay. And as you see things as they are, where the deception is and what's leading you astray will be clearly revealed. Where you need to have firm boundaries will be clearly revealed. And you'll also come into alignment with a clear view of who you truly are. And also the true reflection that you're wanting to see in another as well. So there's a little piece coming in here about relationships and connecting with others, and where that can be a creative process that many things grow from, and there's a flowering and a longevity, and where that can be very draining, you know. But I see that it's through this kind of getting a little space and seeing things clearly so you can look more at the details of a situation and have a little bit more clarity. You'll make the right decision about where to draw boundary lines, and in so doing, you're going to recognize the step you need to take. And this is wild because this card came out for you, I believe, in the reading we just did for you last week. So you are starting some very significant journey here, and it's beginning with this single step, right? Huge transformation in your life, huge transformation in your life. And it starts out with a single step, but let me tell you, it's that butterfly effect. It will ripple out into all aspects of your life. This is a big change coming in for you. It has a lot to do with, you know, also your community and the people you build community with and who you choose to invest your time and energy with too, because that can be something that is really productive and supportive, or it can be something that just drags you down with the rest of them. And I say that here because we do have what needs to end here. You need to release a certain allegiance, okay? For some of you, it may be, you know, a few people you need to, you know, kind of just get some distance from here. We got the bee medicine coming in. That is all about networking, but it's also about the honey, the sweetness. So go where the honey is, go where the sweetness is, go where there is true community building, okay? Not where somebody always has to kind of like act like the queen bee. It's all about them and what they want, and you're just sort of like, you know, putting your own dreams and visions on the back burner. And once you make this change, okay, have faith in the process. I know it's a little bit of a leap here, but if you just trust and you release, you know, you got the shock of the new. And here comes in a big, bold vision. And I have to tell you, this is another of your cards that came through in the read that we just did for you, Sagittarius, okay? So there is a new vision hatching and purpose hatching here. But first, you got to like cut the cord on some things that are holding you back. And we start right where we began, where I was talking about. You have your own unique flow. You got to go with your own unique flow. We got it right here. Follow your own rhythm. You may be a life path 5, okay? Follow your own rhythm. This is also that energy of 5. You may need to create what at first seems like a little bit of an upheaval to come into a place of balance, like the Vitruvian man. But if you go this route, it'll really work for you, okay? You just need to keep listening for your own truth in regard to this, okay? 36 energy, 9 makes me think of that hermit energy. Like, you're not going to arrive at your answers by other people telling you what you need to do. You actually need to extricate yourself from these people so you can really get in touch with your own inner hearing and that voice that's calling you forward, okay? I feel like it's a voice that's within you that wants to be expressed. And that's really where you're being called to put your focus now. And you should really guard this new birth vigilantly. 24 here. You could be a life path number 6, all right? There's something that you're coming into alignment with here. It is a shared dream. It's a collaborative dream. And this is what is on the other side once you let go of these false allegiances. It's the birth of a new collaborative dream. There's people to share in this manifestation with you, and likely a very special someone with that 2 influence there with the 8. But this is beautiful. Very beautiful. And more butterfly medicine, okay? Some of you are writers, some of you are songwriters, you're lyricists, some of you are poets, some of you write screenplays, or you have a book in you. All right, right now is the time the word wants to be written. And maybe for some of you, it just begins with something like a simple text, sending out a little snail mail, reaching out and touch someone, and that's the catalyst that changes it all.